allowed to tell me?
All right. First question: how does literature or any kind of text reflect the survival of humanity, and why is this important?
Okay, so I put literature reflects the survival of humanity by showing how it has changed survival. Over time, people find better and more advanced ways on how to survive. And and How to Build a Fire by Jack London shows us how the man wasn't really that smart to survive, which shows us how survival has evolved over time. And yeah.
To go off what Karime said, in the most dangerous game, we see how two different people have been adapted to survival over times by what they've known, what they've seen.
I agree with that. And like with the Thai cave boys, they had to adapt in that short amount of time to their environment because they had to wait on being saved. And yeah.
I've said that literature expresses survival by demonstrating and showing scenarios or scenes of how people survived and what they had to do in situations like in the most dangerous game. When Ranger got to show off his skills to ultimately survive the game.
Yeah, going off of what Jackson said and everyone, I said that it's important because, well, first of all, survivors go, we need to know it's not just their fault because they don't they think it's not their fault anyways, but yeah. And then I said using the video it with Katie, she says that describing grief comes with surviving something that kills someone who you are most close with, even though everyone around me was celebrating that I was alive and telling me your joy, and to me that I didn't matter because I was the only one who lived.
That was a video literature.
So you're talking about how people have
this
dealt
is
with
literature,
situations.
But in text. And
Yeah, text is text, words.
But we have discussed how text can be any body of ideas.
Bryce, do you have anything to add?
No.
Are you sure? Do you have any? Do you agree with any of our points throughout the discussion?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the next question: how does literature or any kind of text evaluate and celebrate the survival of humanity, and why is this important? I said it shows how we have overcome many hard and challenges put in our way, and this is important because it's good to recognize what we have accomplished and done to get new ideas to survive.
I said that literature celebrates survival of humanity because we can read about people's survival stories and what it means to them, and why is it important that we see what survivors go through.
Yeah, I was basically saying exactly what Kayla's saying, that celebrates them by showing their stories and what they had to do to accomplish it. Everything else.
Yeah, going off of what Jalen and Jackson said, mine's basically the same, how it empowers us to create the future and offers us to all the knowledge to require to
Yeah, so I agree with everyone, but I just put that obviously surviving is a good thing because we wouldn't want to be dead. So yeah, survival could be put out in a bad way, but not really because that just wouldn't make any sense.
Going off what Karime said, in the amazing stories of rescue and survival in Nepal, we are able to celebrate the abilities of how boys survived a near-death experience.
Yeah, and the celebration of the Thai cave boys surviving, but they lost one of the guys that helped save them, died in the end, but they still celebrated them too for their sacrifices.
Yeah, going off what Jackson said about the cave boys, they survived 12 days without any food because, and obviously that one guy.
Going off what Shay said in the other question about the car crash, how they celebrated both of the girls because obviously the one survived, but you want to celebrate that, but then you got to celebrate the other death in the situation,
Yeah. Also, in the Seventh Man, how I don't remember his name, but the main character, how he survived, but then also he was dealing with depression and like a whole bunch of other stuff because how his friend had died and was swallowed by a wave.
Bryce, you got something? Nothing?
Do you agree with celebrating survival situations?
Alright.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
So this is like a personal experience. My mom had a friend, and I don't remember her name or the guy's name, but this was in Springbrook, and it was like a group, and it was like a party one night, and they all like dared him to like swim across the lake, and so he did, but he had like something mental like about like his mental health was like not good or something, and so he had like a heart attack, and so they celebrated like him for
Sad.
yeah.
Yeah, going off of like other stuff, like other evidence, it's not just text. Like the invention of new ideas throughout our time that have gotten us through survival situations and tools that
Yeah.
we can use. Electricity or like fire.
Yeah.
And then we get to like experience and like learn more as we get older and grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can adapt with this
To-
new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more stuff before we move on?
Are you sure you don't have
Bryce, anything
Bryce?
else?
I mean, there's holidays dedicated off this survival of humanity too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Like
Very
Christmas,
Like
Yes.
Memorial Day.
Christmas, Memorial Day, Veterans
Oh
Day.
my god.
Wait, what?
That's
Nothing.
Okay, next
All
question.
That's
right.
good,
Like-
Jewish
Next
holiday.
question.
Okay, next question off topic.
Yeah.
Alright, who's-
How
Joe,
does
you got this.
yeah. How does literature or any kind of text shape the survival of humanity, and why is this important? So I put literature shapes the survival of humanity by teaching us how to survive. Without hearing or reading about how to survive, the world would never know. Yeah, survival is what keeps us alive and teaches us how to live. In the story "Thy Cave Boys" by Sarita Robinson, she states that is it Thai or
Tie.
Okay. The Thai footballers seem to have managed to keep themselves hydrated, and although they were clearly hungry when they were found, they appeared cognitively intact, looking alert and asking appropriate questions, which shows how they were learning how to adapt and survive while being stuck in a cave.
Going off of what Creamy was saying, I said that like survival of humanity is like showing us what it takes to survive and like how it happened, and then this is important because it changes our mindset. And to build a fire, it was his stupidity that got him killed, like because he wasn't taking care. Yeah, because he was just taking care of himself. Even though the dog was like smart. And then it like this shapes humanity by making us reflect and show us how we can survive.
I agree with that because we can learn from other people and use it to our advantage in the future. And I also said that in the fire text, out of whatever it was, we learned about many mistakes that the guy made. And so we can use that and like, so if you're ever out in the cold, then you just don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I disagree with all of you.
Oh,
I said literature does not shape the survival of humanity.
See,
You
I
have to understand and experience by actually being inside of it to understand.
But you can.
What are you gonna do, just read a book in the
No,
middle of a
but you
survival
can-
situation?
You
no,
can,
like you read
I
like
mean,
you
in
can
general,
learn
like
off of,
like
you can
reading
learn off of other people.
Yeah, exactly.
First-hand point of views.
Yeah, because when you're in survival life or death situation, the first thing you're gonna think of, oh, remember that video I watched?
Yeah, but
maybe.
it'll just stick in
No,
your
but, like,
brain.
over
It'll be
time-
in the back of your
No.
brain,
over
and it'll
time,
come up.
you don't just like know how to survive. You've like
Yeah.
learned and heard
Yeah,
about
self-taught, not
And then-
literature.
No,
text.
no.
And then say like one of your like friends or something had to get into like a survival situation or something, and they told you like how they reacted to that and everything. So that's like in your brain.
So you're
when
telling me
you're in.
That's
if
not.
you were out in the cold,
situation.
you would think to use the dog as a heat warmer? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Skin
No.
the dog and make a coat.
Oh
Wait, are you saying that like you should just know how to survive? Like it's just a thing.
I'm just saying that literature can't shape the survival of humanity. It can't show humanity. You
Okay,
need
but
to
it shapes some
understand.
part of it. It doesn't shape the whole thing, but
Yeah,
it shapes
well-
some part of it.
I
Yeah.
interpreted this question a little bit differently. I said that it makes people have new beliefs and understandings of the world around us in survival situations. Like in the cost of survival, we are able to see how people have different ideas on how to deal with whose fault it is,
Okay.
like, and how much it should cost in these situations.
Yes.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that.
Bryce, do you have anything
How do you think literature shapes survival of humanity?
to add?
Like, in what way do you think
Or do you disagree
Excellent.
like Jackson did?
But you
shapes,
shouldn't.
like,
That
Survival.
it doesn't shape survival.
do you think describes how people act and what you should do in a situation?
You can just tell us if you agree or disagree. Any of us.
That literature
Right.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Hold on.
All right.
Next
I
question.
got this next
Okay, let's go to the
question.
next question.
What did you learn from this unit on survival that you can apply to your own life right now or in the future? I said I learned that survival can be really hard at sometimes and come at you in unexpected time. I also learned that you can take it. Oh, that it can take a toll on your mental health. Like in the Thai cave boys, like it wasn't just about surviving with their outer, yeah. It also took a toll on the inside of them too.
Yeah, kind of building off what Joe said in the Thai cave was, I was able to see how people like come together to survive hardships, challenges, like how like rescuers came to help them and how like the world was supporting them.
I learned
Yeah,
to,
so I actually have a question for Jayla. What do you mean? What were you saying? Like, you didn't finish what you were saying, and I didn't understand your answer.
Which part?
You were like, how they were outside.
Oh, like the outside, like the physical.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
what
okay.
I meant to say. The
Alright.
physical, that there's also a mental part of the thing, the
physical aspect of survival.
Yeah,
Is that what you're trying to
yeah.
say?
There's also the mental part of survival instead of just the physical part.
So there's
Yeah.
like two
Oh,
sides.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I agree with what both of you two said, but I said like going back to like survivor guilt, because like in the beginning you were talking about how bad like it affects people, and like during the seventh man, it was like he was talking about how he knew it was his fault, that he could have tried and saved his best friend, but like he couldn't move or anything. And then at the end, he finally realized that it was his fault, and he went back and tried to make peace with that thought.
I said,
So yeah,
I agree with all you, but my main claim was to never be ignorant and always take people's advice, because in the to build a fire, the one guy completely ignored the one guy that had already been through it all, and in the end, he was dead.
So you're ignoring the text by just saying
What?
you don't think the text shapes.
No, but
Yeah, you're.
that's no. This is a lesson. This is not shaping humanity.
Well, to agree with
There's a
Jackson's
difference.
point,
There's a difference between shaping humanity and
You're
learning
part of
something.
humanity, and you just got influenced by evidence from a
Yep.
text.
Jayla just influenced.
Yeah.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
Dab on them.
Well, to agree with Jackson and to build a fire, like even though that he never gave up and he like followed all the rules, he let his pride get to him, and that was the main thing that caused him to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait. Repeat yourself.
Yeah, I
That's
was
it,
kind of
yeah.
confused about
Yeah,
what you just
you
said.
gotta go.
So like, basically in that story, like even though you
What
can have all
story?
these other to build a fire, that you can have all these other skills in order to survive, like strength and resilience and all that stuff. It doesn't matter if you lack
The mental is
on the
better.
mental side.
Mental
Yeah, it
side.
does.
No, the mental side
That's why I
is
said
much
it.
stronger than the physical side.
Yeah, that's why I meant it matters.
Oh yeah, I agree
So
with
like,
that.
yeah, you
'Cause,
need
like,
like
you need
yeah.
to be mentally prepared
Yeah.
to like face all of that.
You could be the strongest, like the lion from what is it? The Wizard of Oz. He's
But
scared.
he's the dumbest
a
one.
brute, but he's very
Oh.
scared and he's not very
Well,
smart.
he
So he
is.
is ultimately just
It
the
equals
weakest
out.
link. He's
It
the
equals
weakest
out.
link
Yeah,
out of
so
all of them, even though he's the biggest.
you
brute.
need mental skills
As well as physical.
have your physical.
Yeah.
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 I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bryce, do you have anything to add on to our discussion?
What did you learn from
Yeah.
this unit?
Yeah.
It's
Come on,
okay.
Bryce, you gotta have something there.
Don't have anything to add on.
Did you learn that survivor's guilt is bad? I mean, yeah.
Well, our time is.
Or
Okay.
did you have? Oh,
Well,
never mind.
Okay, our time is up.
Unfortunately,
It is unfortunately, yes, because you all did so well. Outside circle, let's celebrate the inside circle. What first?
oh, yeah. did way better.
I love how they were trying to encourage high school talk.
Yes.
Thanks,
They were
Cameron.
very. Okay. What else?
They were supportive.
Everyone sit down. Okay. What else was happening that was good? Outside circle.
Lots of evidence.
Yeah.
But like, Jingla, you love the Taike voice. Like, all I have to say like Taike voice.
Okay. Okay, but we did use a lot of evidence.
I think we used more, but you guys didn't have a lot.
Did we, in this particular one, did we make a lot more, to use a volleyball reference, did we have a lot of volleying going back and forth?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, lots
You
of
guys
back and forth, back and
Disagreed
forth.
and agreed a lot.
Yeah, when you guys started having an argument, I just wanted to like say something, but like, I was
Okay, you did a fabulous job.
We did a
Like,
great
you
job.
guys-
So disappointed.